Hi, this is Tony Conley from Pickleball, Michigan and beyond for Willow Event Designs. It starts with a vision, a feeling, a moment you have imagined. Willow Event Designs does not just decorate spaces, we design experiences. Your story, your brand, your celebration, all brought to life. Willow Event Designs, designed to be unforgettable. Call them at 517-927-4039. You can also email them at willoweventdesigns@gmail.com. Check out their website at www.willow-event-designs.com. Check them out on Instagram and Facebook. Willow Event Designs.
Welcome to Pickleball, Michigan and beyond, a show that explores the people, players, places, and most importantly, communities that make up pickleball in Michigan and around the world. Here's your host, Tony Conley.
Welcome back to another edition of Pickleball, Michigan and beyond. I'm Tony Conley, of course. I want to thank Benjamin Robinson, our producer extraordinaire. We appreciate him so much. Our next guest we've been trying to track down for a while. And maybe unlike most people, when I come across people who are really, really busy, who are constantly on the go, I'm always kind of in awe, and it kind of motivates me to do better and do more with my time. And I can say that about our next guest. Traver West is the Vice President of Platforms and Technology for Pickleball Central, and he joins us. Traver, how are you?
I'm doing great, Tony. Thanks for the intro. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. We appreciate your time so much. I know you have a lot going on, and to make time for us, just thank you so much for that. What is Pickleball Central?
What is Pickleball Central? Well, Pickleball Central is a lot of things to a lot of people today. We are the world's largest specialty retailer of pickleball equipment and accessories. And we also offer advice to players, education, and hopefully a fantastic online shopping experience. One of the principles that guides us and has guided us from day one, 20 years ago now, and maybe we'll get into that here in a minute, is that we treat customers the way we would want to be treated while shopping online, which is, to be very forgiving, to be very understanding, to process their orders quickly and get them in the hands of our customers as quickly as we can.
Tell us about the origins and history of Pickleball Central.
Sure. I love this question. I love getting this question anytime because it's a very interesting story, and I've had the opportunity to tell it a number of times. So Pickleball Central began in 2006 as a kitchen table t-shirt business, pickleball-themed t-shirt business. And that was because the original founders, Anna Copley and David Johnson, a husband and wife, they were looking online for any kind of pickleball-themed apparel that they could buy and give to Anna's mom as a birthday present. And they couldn't find anything. A lot of people don't even understand that pickleball has been around even a lot longer than from 2006. It was founded in 1965 on Bainbridge Island, just west of Seattle. David and Anna were located in Seattle, and for a long time, pickleball was a Northwest sport, right? I grew up in Spokane, Washington, and I remember playing pickleball for one unit in PE class in middle school, I think it was. But it was just kind of a quirky game, and I didn't really know. I didn't think of it as a sport, didn't even think about it for a long, long time. But then, along comes this opportunity to join Pickleball Central. That's a different tangent I'm not going to get on right now, but 2006, pickleball-themed t-shirt business started at David and Anna's kitchen table. So they couldn't find anything online. David and Anna decided to design a few themselves. They gave those to Anna's mom as the birthday present. Those shirts became so popular among Anna's mom and her play group that they wanted some. David decided to start selling them online as a tiny, tiny business. And it kind of snowballed from there as pickleball grew in interest around the Northwest and eventually across the country. Pickleball Central as a business started adding more products to the lineup, such as paddles and balls, and then getting into accessories and whatnot. And this was all based out of David and Anna's house. And eventually, as bedrooms turned into offices and inventory filled their living room and their garage and whatnot, they decided they needed to make a business out of this and moved into their first warehouse space within a couple of years. And it's just kept snowballing since then.
All right, so we know how the business started. We know that you're from the Great White Northwest, if you will, in Spokane. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are with Pickleball Central.
Oh, sure, no problem. So my background is in e-commerce. I've been in e-commerce since 1999, back when small businesses needed to be convinced that even having a website was a good idea. So my first position in the industry was doing exactly that, calling up small business owners and talking to them about their online presence and how to promote them through all the various search engines and whatnot. And through my first couple of positions, I got to know very, very well a guy who would eventually become the CEO of Pickleball Central. His name was Edward Hector, and he retired from the industry that I was in around 2004. We kept in touch. We worked together again a couple of times in the meantime, and then he reached out to me. It would have been in early 2018, saying that he was the CEO of this pickleballcentral.com company. It was a fast growing internet based pickleball equipment and supplies company. And he had a need for somebody with my experience and expertise to join the team and help grow the site and the business and our distribution operations. And so that's how I joined in the middle of 2018.
Traver, I wonder how many people are like me and my wife and my family. I have two sons who were high school and college athletes. And we discovered that we could go to, say, your Dick's or your Dunham's. We'd have the boys try on what they liked. And then we would come home and my wife would order it online because the price was cheaper. Are there a lot of people like us?
Have I met a lot of people like you?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I am people like you as well. That whole using a physical store as a showroom and then shopping online philosophy is what helped grow Amazon from, an online bookseller to the behemoth they are today, and nearly drove businesses like Best Buy out of business, and thankfully they recovered. But I mean, yes, a lot of people are in the same boat. And it's just so much easier to try a product or view a product or pick it up and hold it in a store and then go shop online for the best price or the best return policy or what have you. And of course, that benefits companies like us as well.
All right, so let's play devil's advocate. You mentioned Amazon, so why would I want to shop Pickleball Central as opposed to Amazon or Dunham's or Dick's or any other place?
Yeah, another great question. I love this one. Because we, as pickleball enthusiasts, we're not just advocates for the sport and retailers of products. We are evangelists for the sport. We all play, we all love it, we all watch it on TV. I met my fiance on a pickleball court. I mean, it's everything to everyone who works at Pickleball Central. So you can't say that if you walk into a Dick's Sports and say, "Hey, random hourly employee who has to know whose knowledge of sporting goods has to be an inch deep and a mile wide. Tell me about this pickleball paddle." They'll say it's $90, and that's what you get out of them. But you contact Pickleball Central, our knowledge is an inch wide. It's only pickleball, and it's 10 miles deep. We know it all.
I thought your reach for Pickleball Central was interesting as I found you guys on a website because I have size 14 wide feet. So to find shoes that fit me that are comfortable, it's tough. And so I found you on a pickleball website and found what I needed and waiting for my wife to pick out her shoes too. But I thought that was interesting how Pickleball Central's everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, and you're one of our most difficult customers to talk to because you have such a unique size and shape of foot. It's so we're getting better about selling shoes online and speaking to customers like you and allowing customers to try shoes on and return them. All those things that enhance an online shopping experience?
I'm a gear guy, as you can tell. I've got on my JoJo and Low shirt and hat, and I appreciate them for being a sponsor of the program.
I love that banger hat.
What are your hottest sellers
Our hottest sellers, boy, in just in terms of paddles or across
across the
product
board?
categories across the board.
Hmm.
Well, I'll start with paddles. Where are we at? We're in the middle of 2026 right now. The hottest sellers change almost quarterly or monthly. It's amazing how quickly the industry evolves. Right now, it's the Boomstick from Selkirk is one of the hottest selling paddles. From 6.0, the Coral and Coral Pro paddles are fantastic sellers. Of course, in terms of pickle balls, the Lifetime LT Pro 48 ball is, in my opinion, the best ball ever made for this sport. And
Why
we
is
have,
that?
well, because it doesn't tend to go out of round very quickly. It doesn't crack. I've played with I don't know how many of them and have yet to crack a single one. I know your mileage may vary depending on, where you play, how often you play, how hard you hit, the climate you're in, all those kinds of things. But it's just a fantastically durable and playable ball.
And you mentioned two paddles. What makes them so good? What differentiates those from others?
Sure. Well, in terms of the Selkirk boomstick, I believe it's the first full foam core paddle, and we can get really deep into the paddle nerd weeds if you want. The first full foam core paddle from Selkirk, one of the longest standing brands in the sport, and the thing just hits like a truck. You barely have to move your arm, you barely have to swing at all, and the ball just rockets away from you. It's a paddle for really power-oriented players. In terms of the 6.0 Coral line, they're super gritty. So anybody who wants to impart a lot of spin on the ball, a lot of power players love their top spin drives as well. The face material on the 6.0 Coral line is second to none.
It's on Reno Sports Bar and Grill. When you come to Reno's, you better come to play. Dine and have a great time any night or day. It's on, we beat the rest. A great time is on tap. It's on, northeast and west, you'll find us on the map. It's on Reno Sports Bar and Grill.
So what's new and cool at Pickleball Central?
Oh boy, there's always something. New and cool, new and cool. Well, one of the trends we're keeping an eye on is long-standing pickleball brands getting into other product categories. I'll give you an example. Like Selkirk, as I mentioned, one of the longest standing brands in the sport, known for their paddles and their quality. Everything's made in the Pacific Northwest, ships out of Idaho. They're a fantastic company. They're getting into footwear. A couple of years ago, they released their very first court shoe line, and just within the last couple of weeks, released the generation 3 of their Court Strike Pro footwear. Fantastic shoes, great for almost anyone to play in. I don't know off the top of my head, Tony, if they make them in a 14 wide. Let's check on that for you.
Yeah.
But so there's stuff like that. There's stuff like Franklin, which has always been, a major sporting goods manufacturer, but in terms of the pickleball world, has really only made a couple of really good paddles, and then the Franklin X40 outdoor pickleball, which for a long time was the most popular ball in the sport. They're expanding more and more into court and facility accessories. So they're doing things like court line markers and training tools and barriers that go between courts in your pickleball facility, all kinds of things to help you as maybe a home court owner or a pickleball facility owner get set up to ensure a positive playing experience for your members.
That's some information that we're kind of aware of, Traver. We recently had on the marketing director from Franklin. And speaking of that, how much has Franklin and Annalee Waters moved the needle when it comes to sales, not only for Franklin products and maybe for Nike, but for pickleball in general?
It would be difficult to pinpoint exactly how big of an impact she has. From my perspective, I would say she is a fantastic evangelist for pickleball and face of the sport, right? Just within the last couple of weeks, she appeared at the ESPY Awards on ESPN and, looked great and was carrying her little Franklin clutch purse that was like a big shiny pickleball shape. She's been an athlete her entire life. She's got a great coaching staff around her and training staff around her. So how big of an impact? I mean, if Annalee Waters wasn't in the sport and we couldn't constantly tell the story of how she went pro at age 11 and she's now 19 and she's, the best female player in the world by a pretty wide margin, is a great face for the sport, is going to the ESPYs, has a contract with Nike and all the, I mean, the story couldn't be any better. And so I guess her impact on the sport is almost immeasurable.
Traver, I've been playing pickleball for a little less than a year and a half. From your perspective, is pickleball still growing, and what makes it so popular, not only here in the States, but around the world?
Oh boy, sure. So, yes, it is still growing, definitely. Domestically in the US, the rate of growth has slowed a little bit. It's plateaued just a little bit, but the growth curve is still increasing. And that's just due to penetration. I mean, like I said, the sport's been around since 1965. It really caught fire in the US during the pandemic, 2020, 2021, because it's an inherently socially distant sport. We had a hard time keeping portable nets in stock during that time. Yeah, just fantastic growth. So in the US, even though the rate of growth has slowed a bit, the sport continues to reach new players all around the world. So we, Pickleball Central and our associated companies and our parent company, we're expanding into Asia. There will be a Pickleball Central Asia in the future. There will be a Pickleball Central Europe in the future, maybe a Pickleball Central South America. Much like I mentioned our other companies, like the PPA Tour is one of our sister companies under the umbrella of Pickleball Inc. And, they recently expanded into a PPA Tour Asia program as well. So there's that international growth. The sport is getting younger every year, which I've continued to say every year for the past 8 years that I've been involved in it. There are now, formal collegiate programs, formal high school programs. There are so many more families out there, like the Waters family, who, had been training Annalee Waters since she was 9 or 10 to go pro at 11. And so, I mean, just think about all the kids around the world that grow up playing tennis from a very early age, who now have the opportunity to play a burgeoning and to go pro and to maybe become a name and make a living. Whereas in the tennis world, it's been around so long and it's so big and it's so competitive that they just probably don't have the same opportunity.
At my home gym here in Michigan, I have played against players from 15 to 80. And you mentioned how the sport is growing among younger players. There's discussion here with the Michigan High School Athletic Association to make pickleball a varsity sport.
Fantastic.
Which I think would be pretty cool. Are you seeing that in other places around the country?
Yeah, definitely. It's all over the place. In some of these traditional pickleball hotbeds like Florida, where the Villages has had a huge pickleball program for a long time. Schools out there are organizing official pickleball programs. Arizona, definitely. Texas, definitely. I'm going to leave out some if I try to list them all, but sure, definitely across the country. From what I've seen, mostly in the warmer climates, so you can play virtually year round. But I'm glad to hear about it in Michigan. There are some other states in like the Northwest and Northeast where there are hotbeds, breaking out in certain cities, certain states, and in certain colleges in those areas as well.
Traver, what would you say to beginning pickleball players or folks who are considering playing?
I would say get ready to have probably the most fun you've had playing a sport in your life. Unless you're, a former D1 athlete or something. I didn't have any racket sports experience when I first picked up a pickleball paddle. I wasn't a tennis player or anything like that. I'm kind of a tall guy, used to play basketball a lot more often. But, when I got involved in pickleball, as so many of us were, I was bitten by the bug right away, had so much fun meeting new people, playing in new places, learning from players that were better than me. And, I mean, the sport is such a social sport, even at open rec play at public parks, you're going to make new friends on day one. So pick up the paddle, step on the court, be open to maybe some unsolicited coaching from people who are more experienced. But all of that kind of comes with the territory. You'll never find nicer people.
Traver, what would you say to folks who are 3.0 to 3.5 players who are trying to improve their game?
Oh man, love that question too. So the first thing I would say is you probably receive a lot of advice, and you're probably trying to focus. You're probably trying to improve too many aspects of your game at the same time. So my first bit of advice would say, the next time you step on a court, pick one skill that you definitely want to improve on, and focus on that one skill for the duration of play today, or maybe this week. Right? If it's your third shot drops, hit a bunch of them. Don't worry about your drives. Don't worry so much about your serves. Focus on your third shot drops. Improve that one skill. Next week, improving else, and cut the rest of the noise out of your mind.
Traver, we always like to ask our guests to talk about some of the best, the coolest pickleball facilities they've been to, indoor or outdoor. What are the coolest ones you've been to?
Oh man. So I live in the Austin, Texas area, and there are a bunch of indoor facilities around here that have popped up in the last couple of years. Probably the one that I've seen do it the best, I think, is Apex Pickleball Clubs in Cedar Park. It's just north of Austin. They have, I think it's 16 courts. Indoor courts. They have shower facilities. You go upstairs into a full restaurant and bar. A lot of the menu items are pickleball themed. The food is fantastic. Not for a sporting facility or a pickleball facility, for a restaurant. The food is amazing. The drinks are really good. They do a lot of interactive programming with camps and clinics and whatnot. But aside from that, I mean, I've been numerous places around the country playing in various facilities. There are a lot of them in the Seattle area, of course, where the game was invented. I mean, I could chew your ear off for 2 days with stories about great places to play in the Northwest. Green Lake Park is a fantastic outdoor public park where pickleball, especially on Saturday mornings, is enormous. I've played up around in the Dallas area a bunch of times. There's a facility in Cincinnati called the Pickleball Lodge. You familiar with that one?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Fantastic facility as well. Very much like Apex, but with a different theme. Have done things really well. And then, there are a bunch of really great franchises as well. The Pickleball Kingdom, Dill Dinkers. These are great business opportunities for a lot of folks too.
We've been talking with Traver West, who is the Vice President of Platforms and Technology for Pickleball Central. For folks who are interested in gear and goodies, where can they go?
Pickleballcentral.com.
All right, sounds cool. It's kind of funny you mentioned those courts that you've been to. My wife and I travel quite a bit, whether it's northern Michigan. The last couple of years, we've really been going down to the Virgin Islands quite a bit, both the U.S. and British. There's pickleball courts everywhere, wherever you go, Traver. So we appreciate your time, Traver. We'll get on the website and buy some goodies.
That sounds great.
Right.
Yeah, reach out if you have any questions or need any more advice. I'm here for you.
All right, thanks so much. We've been talking, as I mentioned earlier, with Traver West from Pickleball Central. I'm Tony Conley. Thanks so much for tuning in to another edition of Pickleball Michigan.
Thanks for listening to Pickleball Michigan and Beyond. Follow us on Facebook and check out our website, pickleballmichiganandbeyond.com.
In a world where every structure tells a story, one name has been crafting narratives of success for 100 years, C.E. Gleason Constructors. For a century, we've been the general contractors of opportunity, the builders of dreams. From retail developments to state-of-the-art industrial complexes, real estate developments, and senior living communities. Our legacy is defined by the diverse portfolios of projects we've brought to life. With a commitment to craftsmanship, we've transformed visions into reality. Here's to 100 years. Let us help you expand your business. C.E. Gleason Constructors, building visions and turning dreams into reality.